Fought well yesterday. Your style is unorthodox.
Good morning, Yankees universe. Welcome back to another episode of the Yankees Morning Brew on this Tuesday, April 1st. Like always, I'm your guy, Hector, joined by my compadres this morning. We got the lovely Grace Monroe, and we got That's Baseball Erica joining us on this Tuesdays. Ladies, how are you guys doing? I'll throw it over to you, Grace, first. Let the people know how you feel, especially on this Torpedo Bat Tuesday.
I'm good. How are y'all feeling? It's springtime here in Texas, thunderstorms, lightning, rain, everything is Wait, what is this? I see it. Wait, everybody, look at the radar. It's a torpedo. It's headed straight for us. Brace for impact. She's coming. What are we going to do, Captain? We can't take another hit.
Shout out the chat. Grace, I love that so much. Shout out the chat. Shout out to you. Erica's camera started shaking. I thought it was an earthquake going on over there. But no, happy Tuesday. April Fools, happy Tuesday.
And nobody better be in our chat giving us fake April Fool's news bulletins that Juan Soto has requested a trade or some shit. Okay? Because we are already prepared for the April foolishness.
Wait, Juan, who?
Exactly.
Who? Erica, who? Erica, how are you feeling this morning?
I'm feeling great, man. Our Yankees are 3-0, and everything seems to be working out. Jazz and his torpedo bat. I love it. I love everything. I'm loving all the hate. We went from like, oh, the Yankees are screwed because he lost Garrett Cole to being like, the Yankees are cheating. They have these bats. So I love that the narrative has changed in 3 games.
Yeah, no, same. I think the world is, everything is back in order, right? I think the chakras has lined up. I think everything in sync. I think Venus is in Mars or whatever they say when it comes to that, because when you look at the New York Yankees, everything is right. The Yankees are 3-0. The Mets over there lost the opening series against the Houston Astros. Juan Soto struck out opening day, which every Yankee fan was in love. But with this whole torpedo bat situation, before we get into like the whole controversy around it, the first thing that I want to say that it takes away from is the credit that Brian Cashman and this front office gets, because Yankee fans were quick to make fun of Cashman when he said that the Yankees have one of the best analytical departments in the world, as my Megazord just fell from behind me. But what do you guys make for that? And before we do the roll call.
Yeah, I mean, that is the unfortunate part. It was the perfect storm of the media blitz that happened this weekend because the Yankees put up 36 runs in the first 3 games. They happened to play one of their former pitchers where nobody has a better scouting report on Nestor Cortes than the New York Yankees. So, unfortunately, there was a great game plan put together that nobody is going to talk about because everybody is just talking about these torpedo bats. All of the home runs, the record that they tied with the Cincinnati Reds with 9 home runs in 1 game, the incredible start that Aaron Judge has had to his season, the offensive turnaround and output that Anthony Volpe is putting up and Jazz Chisholm is putting up. And nobody's talking about that because everybody is just focused on these torpedo bats. So it is unfortunate. The new lineup that Aaron Boone rolled out with Paul Goldschmidt leading off, nobody's really talking about that and how that's working and how we have 3 MVPs in the lineup back to back to back who all hit home runs. I mean, it's crazy because it's all being overshadowed by this nonsense. So yeah, it is unfortunate, but Brian Cashman deserves some credit. It's only been 1 series, so I want to see how the season keeps going. But as of right now, Aaron Boone deserves credit for the lineup. Brian Cashman deserves credit for the roster, the pivot that he did after we lost Juan Soto and Garrett Cole. Erica, what do you think?
I think that I could have hit a home run off of Nestor. He was throwing straight meatballs. The Royals even put up 3. I mean, it might be the Brewers. The Royals put up, I think, 12 against them yesterday. So let's not jump to conclusions, guys. I just think that it was crazy that like Michael K deep dove on it
Mhm.
the day that they decide to break their own record for home runs, and that
Yeah.
and it just skyrocketed from there. Like obviously nobody was talking about it, but they've been using these bats apparently since last season. Cody Bellinger has used it with the Cubs. Lindor has been using it since last season. So slow your roll, Met fans. But yeah, I just think it was just kind of coincidental that it just happened to be this. Like Michael K just decided to talk about it the same day that meatballs off of Nestor Cortez.
Yeah, and honestly, I don't think I think if and C-Mac brought it up, right? If this was another team that was using the torpedo bats, not named the New York Yankees, it wouldn't even be a story. But the fact that it's the New York Yankees, the fact that the Yankees lost in the World Series and everybody were expecting the Yankees to suck this year. Look at the Red Sox who are struggling right now. Rafael Devers, he looks like a totally different person. But when you look at all the narratives that are being surrounded by this, it's just because it's New York. It's just because it's the New York Yankees. And I would like to believe, obviously, hindsight 2020, 50-50. I would like to believe that if the Boston Red Sox were to be using the torpedo bats and not the New York Yankees, and the Boston Red Sox started the season like the Yankees, I would like to believe that I would have the same take. Obviously, my Yankee bias sometimes clouds my judgment or sometimes clouds my take. But if it's a rule that's the Yankees are manipulating, they're manipulating the rules. They're playing in the guidelines of what Major League Baseball put out there. As time changes, as technology advances, teams, this is what happens. This is what you see with the NFL, with the Tisch rule, right? That maybe in the future, maybe this gets corrected, maybe it doesn't get corrected, but until then, it's legal now, and I don't think it's that big of a deal. Let's shout out the chat before we continue. Theo Nosebleed section is in the building. Nosebleed, how you doing? Our good friend Jacob Petruzzi is in the building. Double A is in the building, who says Yankees are making those not only didn't pick them to go back to the World Series, but not even make the playoff. Passing this means you ain't gonna run through the AL, then come for receipts from all the haters. Absolutely, Double A, appreciate you. Big time Jerry is in the building. Anthony Medina, me and Malo de la Isla is in the building. We got the Ace Avenue in the building. We got our friend Theo Dennis is in the building. I was with Dennis opening day and on Sunday at Yankee Stadium. Shout out to Dennis. Shout out to the Bleacher Creatures as well. Shout out to everybody that was at Yankee Stadium this weekend. Bendición, Theo, to you, my guy. Nathaniel Crenshaw is in the building. Appreciate you. Our good friend Old Sarge is in the building. Old Sarge, how you doing? Salute to you. 80 Snaps is in the building. Our friend Morgan is in the building. Salute, salute, salute. Mr. Jonathan, a.k.a. the top mod, is in the building. Mr. Keith Saunders. Shout out to my guy Keith, who I saw him on Sunday at the stadium.
Nice.
Just to let everybody know, Sunday, I was a part of a historic event with Latino sports. Jackson Churios won the 2024 National League Rookie of the Year for Latino sports, and we had an interview with him. Eric, I was in my first ever Major League clubhouse on Sunday, so that was pretty cool, being able to go to the visitors' dugout with the Brewers, being able to talk with the Brewers managers as well. Pat Murphy, he was phenomenal. Well, I got a question on him. Keep on looking out. I'll be releasing it later on today. Shout out to my guy Ghost that is in the building. So I want to keep talking about the torpedo bats, right? I want to bring up this guy. This is the man right here that was in charge of making the torpedo bats, right? When you look at it, this is Joe from Twitter who says there seems to be a lot of confusion about the Yankees' new torpedo style bats, but they are perfectly legal. MLB bats must be from one piece of solid wood, be no more than 2.61 inches in diameter, and at their thickest parts, not exceed 42 inches in length. So basically, no problem here. And like I said a little while ago, if this was any other team, if this was the Kansas City Royals, the Colorado Rockies, nobody will be making a big stink about it. What it is that the Yankees analytic department, the Yankees have enough money, enough resources to spend. I think somebody said it. The Kansas City Royals, they hire one person to do the job that the 50 people in the Yankees analytic department does, right? So the Yankees can hire more people to do it, and that's what they did. They hired somebody from MIT. They hired somebody who worked with NASA in the past and who figured it out. I want to ask you guys, do you think it's more of a stain on Major League Baseball that it wasn't until 2024 that somebody decided, you know what, let's take a look at this bat and let's see if we can improve it? What's your thoughts on that? Because I feel that if that's the case, these bats should have been improved years ago, right? C-Mac said, I think somebody on WFAN said it, that that chefs, if you go to, when I worked in high class restaurants, the chefs at the restaurants, they used to come in with their own knives. They used to come in with their own sharpening tools. So if you're a baseball player, if this tool is your tool to use in a game, why not try to improve it? What's your thoughts on that, Grace? And then kick it over to Erica. Folks in the chat, let us know as well.
I talked to my husband about this because he plays golf, and he actually went and got fitted for clubs this year for the first time. And he went to a lab and he swung a million times, and they had a computer, they had a special attachment that they put on the face of the club that figured out exactly where he hits the ball, where he makes contact. Does he hit open? Does he need a closed face? Does he need an open face? Does he slice? Does he, what is his tendency? Then they did his height, they did his weight, they measured his, chest, they measured his torso, they did all this stuff, and they figured out the trajectory of where he needs to hit the ball, where he needs to square it up, how it's going to help him. They have options. Do you want a graphite shaft on your clubs? Do you want a steel shaft on your clubs? Do you want a long club face? Do you want a shorter club face? Do you want a slanted club face? Do you always hit the ball open, so you need your face of your club to be a little bit closed on the end of your shaft to help you not hit it open? And this is all perfectly legal. Now, my husband's on the PGA, okay? But on the PGA, that's what they do. He said, and I talked to him about it this morning, he said that there are no two people on the PGA Tour that have the same clubs. None of them have the same clubs. They all have perfectly customized tools to help them be the best golfer that they can be. And nobody is out there complaining about Scotty Scheffler. And let me tell you something else. If you go get fitted for clubs and you go out to play 18, you're not going to turn into Scotty Scheffler all of a sudden, okay?
Facts.
So it is the athlete. These are tools. They help you like 0.001% on the margins, right? Which is what Aaron Boone said. We're trying to get better on the margins. When you are in the World Series, the margin is what matters. When you are an elite athlete and everybody on the field is an elite athlete, the margins matter. But if you're not, or you don't know how to use the tool, it is useless in your hands. So here's the thing. When Barry Bonds was making his run and people were trying to explain, how is Barry Bonds doing this? How is he being superhuman, right? They were saying, oh, well, he's choking up on the bat all the time. Because why was he choking up on the bat all the time? To move the barrel down, to get to an inside fastball with the meat of the bat. And everybody was like, well, what is he doing? It's crazy. It's an unfair advantage. And then he decided to do a maple bat instead of an ashwood bat. Everybody lost their minds. I don't know why baseball is held to a different standard than football, tennis, golf, basketball, any other professional sport that you can name have made many innovations. But for some reason, when they do it in baseball, everybody loses their mind. Well, you can't break the record. You can't break Babe Ruth's record that was set in 1929. Because you play more games than he did, and you travel on airplanes. They used to travel on buses. Everything has to be exactly the same as 1929. I don't understand.
Man, see?
Baseball, yeah. I don't know why baseball is held to this weird standard that no other sport is, and it's ridiculous. So, everybody needs to calm down. It was one series against the Brewers. Like, these bats are not new. They have been all over the league. The Twins use them. The Phillies use them. The Braves use them. The Marlins use them. The Rays use them. The Mets use them. The Reds use them. The Yankees use them. The Yankees put up 36 runs in 3 games. That's really the issue here. And y'all can't deal with it. Y'all are scared. You're running scared. You're freaking out. You're just freaking out. Your little heart is breaking. That's what the issue is.
They're running for the hills. Shout out to our good friend Ken Mashy. Shout out to Ken in the chat. Shout out to Consigliere Joe in the chat. Mashy. Shout out to you guys. Hector Cruz is in the building. Carl T is in the building. Smack that like button. Hit that subscribe button, folks. We are sitting at 4,896 subscribers on YouTube. We are almost at 5K. Hit that sub button. Go ahead, E. Let them know how you feel.
Shane, I don't know if you guys watch Shane Gillis, but he has a great set where he talks about like how people used to talk like that in baseball.
Yeah. I know exactly which one you're talking about too.
Yeah, it's really good. If you guys haven't seen it, it's awesome. But man, science in baseball has just advanced so much over just a couple of years. Like, obviously, we talk about analytics so much. You know, pitching is light years ahead of offense. If we really look at it, they go into pitching labs. They look at spin rate. They look just the break of a ball, like frame by frame. So, God forbid, maybe we've been making the baseballs the bats the wrong way the whole time, right? All you're doing is just taking the wood from the end of the bat and just moving it down a little bit. It's within guidelines. I'm sure adjustments will be made by pitchers, right? Maybe they'll throw away or off the plate more often so that they get the end of the bat. Who knows? All it is that you're just moving the wood from the end to more of the sweet spot. And I've had arguments with a lot of people saying like, oh, this is an advantage. You know, they're going to get rid of it. I don't think they're going to get rid of it. Like I said, baseball has been forever changing, and I know that people don't love it. But you know, if it was the Rays that did this, we would be applauding them, because the Rays always have, you know, the greatest analytics team and the greatest coaching. Oh, look, they created the shift and they created, you know, all these things, and nobody ever said anything about that. But to me, it's within guidelines. Like you said, with golf clubs, they did it with hockey as well. They curved the hockey stick so that the end of the stick, so that they can get, you know, more velocity when you slap shots or whatever. So it's ever changing. It is what it is. Basketball got the 3-point line. Like, it's just this is. That's all I can say. That it is what it is. It's just we're just trying to, you know, see more offense. And if you think the MLB is going to get rid of these bats when there's an uptick in offense, you are wrong, because this is what Manfred wants. They've been changing the game so that there is more action. And this is what this is going to result in. Then it's not going to work, guys. Sorry, you can complain all you want.
Yeah. You could keep on complaining. I guarantee you this, Erica. If they allow the hitters to have this, best believe that sticky stuff substance will be coming back in some form of fashion in Major League Baseball. Shout out my guy, L.I. Yankee King, who has probably one of the greatest takes that I've seen on this situation. He says, what's up, guys? It's funny that there's a lot of people who hate the analytics, but because of the analytics, we scored 36 runs. And that's an absolute fact. I think one of the biggest takeaways, that's the sad thing about this whole controversy, or this faux rage fake controversy, is the fact that Brian Cashman and that analytic department needs to get their flowers. They saw something that was affecting Anthony Volpe. They saw something that was affecting Jazz Chisholm. So what did they do? They hired somebody from MIT. They had the analytic department look at the numbers, and they figured it out. And they figured out that, hey, if we move the thickness of the bat from here just a little bit down over here, it's going to improve it. And like you said, Grace, it's all about improving in the margins. And what is this? Improving in the margins. Now, there's some douchebag that's out there that I want to talk about for a second. His name is Dave Portnoy, right? Dave Portnoy from Barstools, who probably had the worst take on this situation. I love it when people bring up like high school footage when they used to hit home runs in high school as a way to justify their argument against Major League Baseball players who do this at a professional level. Always remember, whenever you see Dave Portnoy giving a take on sports, remember, Dave Portnoy is the guy that thought it was okay to have a podcast with the N-word spelled out as an acronym, right? So just remember, anytime Dave Portnoy gave a sports take, he thought it was a good idea to name his podcast the N-word spelled out as an acronym. So anywho, besides that, going back to the conversation on these bats, Jose Trevino, they were talking to Jose Trevino about it, and Jose Trevino said that he was doing this last year with the New York Yankees. He did it in spring training with the Yankees. He did it in the season with the Yankees. And now he has the same bats in Cincinnati. Ellie De La Cruz, he used the bat yesterday. He went 4 for 5. He had a home run and he was phenomenal. And like you said, Erica, anytime Major League Baseball can improve the offense, can do anything to improve the offense, they're going to do it. What happened at the end of the dead ball era, right? When Bob Gibson was killing Major League Baseball with the pitching, they moved the pitcher's mound. They moved it a little bit up. They switched the angle on it so hitters can pick up the ball a lot better. And I think that's what they're going to do in 2025. I have no issue with this shit. Like I said, if there was another team that was doing it, if it was the Red Sox that scored all these runs this weekend, I would have no issue with it. And one thing that Pat Murphy said when I was in the the manager's clubhouse doing the interview was that 8 of their top 12 pitchers are injured or weren't available this weekend. 6 of them are on the IL. 2 of them are making rehab starts or had a slow start to spring training and are making their way back. So 8 of their top 12 pitchers were not available this weekend. And when you go back into what the Yankees did against the Brewers last season, the Yankees scored double-digit runs against the Brewers as well last year, right? So I just think when you had
even Anthony Rizzo hit a home run.
When you had Peralta, who's the best pitcher for the Brewers, the Yankees didn't score double-digit runs in that first game when they went against a top elite pitcher. They went against subpar pitching this weekend, and they took advantage of it, and that's what you're supposed to do.
If the Red Sox had figured this out first, I was asking myself this because as an Aquarius, I like to think of things, try to see things objectively as a tool, and I thought if the Red Sox had done this, how would I feel, right? And if I'm being totally honest, I would have been pissed, but not because I would be running around saying the Red Sox are cheating, because I would say, why didn't we figure this out? Why can't we have these bats? Where can we get order bats for the Yankees that are like this? I would not be saying these bats need to be outlawed and they need to be taken away because I'm not scared of the Red Sox. Everybody who's freaking out, just say that you're scared of the New York Yankees. Just admit it, because that's what you're saying without saying it. It's really loud, actually, that you're just scared, because your team can have these bats too, and they probably already do. So what's the problem?
Yeah, and our best player wasn't even using it. Aaron Judge got 4 home runs without that bat, guys. So either way.
I want to be able to show you guys just so we could switch the conversation right back to something that actually matters with the Yankees. Opening day, I was there for opening day. Shout out to my guy Keith McPherson. I just want to play this real quick, and we'll get back to it. All right.
Oh yeah, I'm a Yankee.
Song. I can't lie. Shout out to Johnny Two Phones for that show. Shout out to the Yankees. That song is a very catchy song, and I was vibing that song this entire weekend. It fit the weekend. It was a great opening weekend. We swept the Brewers. We scored runs. Aaron Judge is on his 2025 revenge tour. So let's talk about the captain, number 99 on his revenge tour. And again, shout out to my guy Keith McPherson, because he had a Met fan call into his show and try to stir up some fake controversy. Erica knows exactly what I'm talking about, saying that his Yankee friends were saying, where was this when it mattered the most in the postseason? Not one bleeping Yankee fan said that. That was his Met group chat that him and his friends was just talking ish, and he thought he did something with that one. No Yankee fan, especially Yankee fans that I was around, was saying, where was this when it mattered the most? No, Aaron Judge, he has a chip on his shoulder. He is on his revenge tour. Aaron Judge, he had daddy power because he had a child this offseason. Shout out to Aaron Judge. So I'm ready for this.
Aaron Judge almost has 1 WAR already for this season. It's been 3 games. He's got 0.9 WAR already. It's insane. What he's doing is crazy. And we just get used to it, unfortunately. It's sad. It's wrong. We have got to do better as a fan base, because what we're seeing is not only once in a generation, it's like once in 100-year level of everyday in and out offense and defense. This guy's putting up crazy numbers. He's an absolute treasure. I mean, we're so lucky to have him on our team. And honestly, we should all be ashamed that we forgot, or that we ever let a moment go by where we didn't absolutely laud this man for what he's done for the Yankees.
Yep. Facts. Go ahead, E.
Yeah, I tell people all the time, he's the greatest hitter all around greatest hitter I've ever seen. Like what he can do, power side, just contact. It's incredible. He continues to get better. And I can't believe that the Red Sox are paying Bregman the same amount of money that Judge is getting because it's crazy. Like, I mean, what he's producing, honestly, what he's making, it's a phenomenal deal. But also don't forget like what he does in the clubhouse. I feel like every player that goes to the Yankee clubhouse talks about the leadership that Aaron Judge shows in there, how he makes them feel welcome. You see him in between a guy like Cody Bellinger and Goldschmidt on the bench, two veterans, but he's showing that he's just trying to build that camaraderie basically. It doesn't look like anything ever gets to him. I know that things ended the way they did in the playoffs last year, but he just focused on the next season and he said, listen, I don't want to have a bad March and April like I did the year before. And he did things to better himself and have 4 home runs already. Like it's incredible. I hope to see another MVP season. If he continues this track, it would have been his 4th MVP season. And hopefully this one ends in a ring because it really does feel like he is out for blood. He's got a chip on his shoulder. He doesn't he downplays a lot of the stuff that gets said in the media and the stuff with Soto, but I feel like he really does take that personally. And he's like, I'm the king of New York.
Facts. And he just handles it differently, right? He doesn't, and I know when he was first coming up, people kept saying that he carries himself like Jeter. He's a bit robotic, but being around him around spring training, right, working media for Latino sports, I got to be able to see a certain side of Aaron Judge that as a fan, I never saw, seeing how he goes about his daily routine, seeing how he interacts with all the young players on the team. He is an actual leader, seeing him have conversations with George Lombard, seeing him have conversations with Peraza, Austin Wells, Anthony Volpe, right, like doing his BP and the back cages in the backfield after every round, after every time he was up, he went right to the gate to go talk to all the young fans. And, Erica Grace, how like fans, it's a sea of fans, right? It's hard to distinguish who is what, but Aaron Judge took time to make sure he went to every kid that was in that sea of. If you were a grown ass adult, you're going to have to wait, but he was going to every kid. And I show you that video, Grace, 2 snot-nosed kids, that twin brothers that were just bawling and boogers coming out their face because Judge took 30 seconds to talk to them and sign an autograph. Aaron Judge is different. And like you said, Erica, he's coming into this season. He has a chip on his shoulder, right? He has a lot to prove, right? And let's not forget, if it wasn't for that wall in Dodger Stadium and his toe, he will be going for his 5th MVP in a row. Not 4. Yeah, you're absolutely right. His 4th MVP in a row, right? So we got to put some respect on Aaron Judge's name. Right now, like you said, he is the greatest right-handed bat that I've seen in Major League Baseball. I know I was young in high school when Alex Rodriguez, or when I was in junior high school when Alex Rodriguez was putting up numbers with the Texas Rangers. But when you look at a 5-year period and look at the numbers that Aaron Judge has put up, especially when the one question for Aaron Judge was, could he stay healthy? Could Aaron Judge actually lead the team? There was at one point Yankee fans would rather DJ LeMahieu up in a big-time situation over Aaron Judge. Not no more. Not no more. We want number 99 up to play. We want the captain to be the difference maker if we win or if we lose.
He's so far ahead on pace of anybody else for games that he's played and home runs that he's hit. Like 50 more home runs or something than the person in second place. But the only but the only drawback for his career is that he entered the game later in life than these megalithic, iconic baseball figures that entered the league at 22, 21 or whatever, and then played for so many years. Unfortunately, Aaron Judge entered the league a little bit older, and so his career is probably not going to be as long as like Hank Aaron or these kinds of guys who played 20 years in the league. But the pace that he's on is absolutely obliterating anyone else who's ever played the game of baseball by like 50 home runs. It's crazy what he's doing. But I wanted to say, when they interview him and they say like, Aaron Judge, you know, what you've done is crazy. How do you feel? He always gives the credit to somebody else, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you were talking about his influence on the team, and Erica, you brought up his clubhouse demeanor and everything. And I wanted to give a shout out to Carlos Rodon, because obviously he had a really nice start for us, and we ended up winning the game and everything. And we've seen so much improvement in him, not only in his game, but also mentally, right? And they were interviewing him after the game, and I wanted to give him the shout out because I thought it was so cool and awesome. They asked him, like, Rodon, like, great start. You know, I saw you're mixing in some different pitches. How do you feel about your pitch mix today and all the pitches you had available? And he goes, without skipping a beat, he goes, oh, Wells called a great game. And I was like, God, that was so cool. It was so cool because he just immediately gave credit to his catcher, to the game that Wells called, to the pitches. He said all I had to do was wait for what Wells wanted me to throw and then throw it. I'm paraphrasing, but that's basically what he said. And I just thought, I'm not saying that that's Aaron Judge's influence, but I'm also not saying that it's that is Aaron Judge's influence, because that type of leadership bleeds into the entire squad. And we know that Carlos Rodon has totally bought in to being a Yankee and the Yankee lifestyle. You follow Ashley Rodon on Twitter, you know that she absolutely reveres the teammates. They both do. And they hold Aaron Judge in such high esteem, just like all the guys on the squad do. But that's the type of leadership that bleeds down from the top all the way down through this rotation, through everything. And I just thought that was such a cool moment.
Yeah, I think it was the beard. What about you, Erica?
The beard on Carlos.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I hope he could be the guy this year. I think he's very important, especially with all the injuries that we have in our rotation. But Wells, man, that's my boo. That's all I gotta say about that. Yeah, real quick, just talking, like, not to go back to the bats or anything like that, but I went to Fenway. I was on a work trip and we did a Fenway Park. I was in Boston and we did a Fenway Park tour. And when I saw those dimensions in real life, I don't want to hear crap about the short porch anymore, because those dimensions, when you see them in person, it looks like a clown show. The right field is ridiculous. Left, the green monster is obviously, you know, it's a short distance from home plate. I was just like dumbfounded. I understood it because I see it on TV all the time, but I was like, I really need this narrative of the short porch to go away, because Yankee Stadium is not a hitter's ballpark if you don't know how to go opposite field or pull if you're a lefty. So
yeah, especially Death Alley and left center in Yankee Stadium, which is one of the deepest or biggest left center fields in all of Major League Baseball. Shout out to our guy LB that is in the chat. Appreciate you, folks. We got over 115 people rocking out with us. We got over 50 people on YouTube. If you guys can, smack that like button, hit that subscribe button, and again, we have 4,896. So if you're watching, if you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button. And I got a treat for our friend Erica. Hey, you know what's funny about that video? Grace, tell him what happened. Go ahead, tell him.
Nothing wrong with Austin Wells and that. He's sorry, what are we talking about? Sorry. I'm happily married, but goddamn. I was scrolling through Instagram, and I, of course, follow Jason Dominguez, and on Jason Dominguez's story was a video from Uptown Sports TV. And I said, wait a minute. Like, wait, am I seeing what I'm seeing? So I screenshotted it real fast and I said, oh my God. First of all, Jason Dominguez and I are best friends now. No, but I was like, oh my God. And I texted Hector it was like early Saturday morning or something. And I texted Hector and I was like, oh my God, this is on Jason Dominguez's story. The video that you made with our podcast logo on it. Like, oh my God. And Hector goes, we're famous. And I was like, oh my God. So then when he came up to bat later, I said, Jason Dominguez, friend of the show.
Yeah, friend of the show. Yeah, friend of the show. Yeah, no, shout out to Jason Dominguez. I had no idea. That video has blown up. It has over, I think, 400,000 views on the video, if I'm not mistaken. So shout out to Jason Dominguez for sharing that video. We got like over 100 followers on Instagram because of it. So shout out to the Martian.
I got my comment got like 200 likes. I said,
yes.
What'd you say?
I said, I love my catcher.
Yeah. Yeah. Listen, shout out to Austin Wells because, you know, a lot of people were questioning the lineup, you know, coming into the opening series with Austin Wells leading it off the opening day, with Paul Goldsmith leading it off the next two games. Right. And so far as work, it's not broke. Don't fix it. You know, let it ride out. I like what I'm seeing from the Yankees offense. Obviously, they're not going to score 10 runs a game. That's just the reality. But let's see what happens with the Arizona Diamondbacks tonight at Yankee Stadium. It's going to be a good one. One thing that I want to talk about, I know we're going to talk about Cody Bellinger and Anthony Volpe, but I want to keep on talking about Anthony Volpe. Aaron Judge, we already know Aaron Judge is top 5 in jersey sales. But did you guys know that Anthony Volpe is in the top 20 in jersey sales in all of Major League Baseball? The Anthony Volpe jersey is the number 19th jersey sold in all of Major League Baseball. So shout out to Volpe. Shout out to our shortstop, the Gold Glover. I think that's some good thing. Obviously, it's a lot of Yankee fans that's buying Anthony Volpe's jersey. But to me, I was surprised when I saw that tweet from Gary Phillips. Erica, what's your thoughts on that? And then throw it over to Grace. Folks in the chat, shout out to Raymond Diaz. Appreciate you. Go ahead, E.
Yeah, that's really surprising. I would have not guessed that at all. If anything, I think all those New Jersey, we're small but mighty. I think that everybody in New Jersey probably bought his uniform at that point, because I don't know who's buying it across the country.
Yeah.
I love it. I mean, I wanted Anthony Volpe to succeed. I like his story. You know, he's not going to be the next Derek Jeter, but I do like the story. And then honestly, what he did in the World Series in Game 4, I think put him on the map. You know, Grand Slam. He looked good. He looked good out there. So maybe people were watching and they were just like, yeah, this guy has a little swagger. And everybody talks positively about Anthony Volpe, even in the clubhouse. You see Giancarlo Stanton hanging out with him a lot. Kaz and him have a really cool relationship. So I feel like he's on the low, just like a really cool dude to be around. So I don't know.
Agree.
It's very interesting. I did not know that about the jersey sales, though.
Yeah, agree. What's your thoughts, Grace?
Yeah, Anthony Volpe's great. He's young. He's fine. He he plays really well. He's got a Gold Glove. Played in the World Series. You know, he's a nice guy, soft spoken. I mean, stays out of trouble. Like, what? There's nothing not to like about Anthony Volpe. You know, and I think the kids really like him. You know, he does a lot of charity work with kids.
Yeah, he does.
And that's really, really cool. He's, like Erica said, a New Jersey native, grew up a Yankees fan. Great story. Derek Jeter talks about him a lot, right? So, you know, that's really cool for him. I'm surprised. But maybe I shouldn't have been surprised, you know? So good for him. He also has a cool number, 11. That's a cool number. So
yeah, you know, there's a lot of great Yankees that wore number 11. Brett Gardner, you know, Gary Sheffield growing up was number 11 for me. So there's going to be a lot of Yankee fans now that's going to have Anthony Volpe as their number 11. Listen, we love our homegrown talent. Right, in the Yankee system, sometimes the Yankee fans and the Yankee organizations is guilty of overhyping their prospects. But when it comes to Anthony Volpe, his rookie year, he got thrown into the fire because the Yankees didn't have a shortstop. We understood that, right? He had 20 home runs, 20 stolen bases, but that batting average was I-205, right? We understand that, right? Sophomore year, improved his batting average, right? Not that many home runs, but he looked like a better player. And like y'all both said, in that World Series, right, experience is vital. You cannot put a price on experience. And I think him having that experience in the World Series, hitting that Grand Slam is going to go a long way for Anthony Volpe's success this season. Shout out to Big Ant NYC with the $5 super chat. Appreciate you, Big Ant, who says, "What's up, familiar? It wouldn't surprise me seeing Judge be highly productive in his late 30s into 40s. Hey, if Miguel Cabrera could do it, why not Aaron Judge?" And when you look at Aaron Judge, he is an athletic Adonis. He is an athletic freak. I know Giancarlo Stanton as well. You could throw him in there, but Aaron Judge, he has been solid for the New York Yankees. Hopefully he can stay healthy. Hopefully, knock on wood. Age, it's not a big factor for Judge. He's 33 years old and he's still putting up elite numbers. And I look forward to seeing Judge over the next few years while he finishes out his contract with the Yankees. But no, I think Judge, the way his body is built, he doesn't have that mileage on his body the way that Miguel Cabrera and some other Major League Baseball players do. Because your point, Grace, he got to start in baseball late in life. He got drafted by the Oakland Athletics coming out of high school, but he decided to go to Fresno. Just imagine if he would have been playing for the Oakland or just the Athletics. It's just weird seeing that ATH on the name for the Athletics. That's just very weird. But Grace, what's your thoughts about Judge and this super chat real quick before we continue?
Yeah, I mean, first step was getting him back in right field this year, right? Getting him out of center field, getting him back in right field. Second step's going to be where's his career going to progress as he goes on? Is he going to play first base? Is he going to become the full-time DH? What's going to extend his career the most? I'm sure the Yankees are on top of this. I want to believe and have faith in the analytics and in the system that they have every interest in trying to get Aaron Judge to play as long as he possibly can. So hopefully, he is a big guy. So there's not as much maybe analytic or statistics of guys his size and how the longevity is going to play out. But hopefully they've got the smart people from MIT on it.
Yeah, definitely the smart people from MIT, because it's not me. What's your thought, E, on the super chat before we continue?
I'm just glad we live in a world where we have a full-time DH option, because that's where he's going to end up in the tail end of his career. And I think he'll still be able to put up 25 plus home runs when he's playing at like 38, 39 years old. But like Grace said, I'm pretty sure they're keeping tabs on this. They know they have a plan, in place. But yeah, I can see him being successful deep into his career as long as he continues to be 6'6" and 250 or whatever he is. He'll be able to power a ball out of any ballpark. Doesn't matter. He might lose a little bit of, like his swing. It might slow down a little bit as he gets older, but he'll be fine. I'm just happy that he's a Yankee. It's incredible that we talk a lot of smack about not being able to develop prospects, but he's lightning in a bottle.
Yeah, no, definitely. I got a treat that I want to play. Grace, I know you saw this, but shout out to our friend, The Ace Avenue. Shout out to our guy, Ace, who had this piece from his live stream and Jason for Grace.
Here's Jason Dominguez.
Look, up in the sky. It's a bird. It's a plane.
Hello, it's the Martian.
Jason Dominguez.
Dominguez, first opening day with the...
I saw, first of all, shout out to Ace, because I saw when you retweeted that, I thought that was hilarious. Shout out to Cheesy Showcase. Go ahead.
I played that and I'm in bed and I played that and then it had me singing and my husband rolls over. He looks at me and I go, "That was me." And he goes, "I know what you sound like." And I was like, "Oh, that's my friend." He put me on his stream and my husband thought it was so cool too. It was just a big honor. Thank you very much for including me on your streams. I'm just really, really honored, and I think it's so cool and great.
Yeah, shout out to the Ace for that. Another topic that we're going to touch on before we get ready to wrap things up. We got to talk about one of the new Yankees, Cody Bellinger. And shout out to Ryan Garcia from Fireside Yankees. Shout out to our good friend Ryan, friend of the show, who said Cody Bellinger's 450-foot home run that he hit was the furthest of his career. Multiple guys on the team displayed noticeable leaps in raw power during spring training. It feels like I'm telling you another StatCast related PR for every Yankee for a Yankee every week. And when you look at the Yankees numbers in spring training, the New York Yankees led all of Major League Baseball in home runs in spring training. Granted, it's spring training. I understand that. But seeing what they did this opening weekend, seeing how good Cody Bellinger looked. What's your thoughts, Grace? I'll let you lead the convo and then toss it up to Erica. Shout out to our good friend Keith Saunders in the building. No way, that got to be April Fools. Breaking news: the Yankees signed Ottavino to a major league contract. That has to be an April Fool's joke right there. Go ahead, Grace.
I think Cody Bellinger is, so amazing. Like, we need to be talking more about Cody Bellinger. Again, this weekend was so crazy that nobody's talking about the contribution that Cody Bellinger is making for the Yankees, because his defense obviously is a thing of beauty, absolute beauty. But his offense too, he obviously he hit a home run, that's great. But he hit 2 very important sacrifice flies to bring runs in. This guy is an all-around ball player. I'm talking about hitting it where they ain't, bringing the guys home, moving them over, bringing them home, stealing bases. You know, he stole that incredible bag in the middle of the inning that ended up being an important move. I mean, he is solid on defense. He can play center field. He can play left field. He can even play first base. We've got him hitting where it's situational hitting. That's Cody Bellinger. I mean, he is just a freaking ball player, and I love to see it. He's a teammate. He's an MVP. Incredible. I can't say enough about Cody Bellinger. He is quickly rising to be one of my favorite players. I'm serious. He's amazing.
And it's not an April Fool's joke, apparently. I just looked it up as official. Adam Ottavino is back with the New York Yankees. Appreciate you guys for entertaining me with the April Fool's joke that I was throwing out there. But no, it looks like Ottavino is back. And again, we got over 130 people rocking out with us, over 60 on YouTube. Smack that like button and hit that subscribe button. Go ahead, E.
I know that people feel a certain way about Ottavino being back, but anything is possible with Matt Blake, guys. Let's just.
And Matt Blake, we trust you. You got me walking off the ledge, Erica.
Cody Bellinger. So funny enough, I have spoken to friends, like Yankee fan friends, and I keep forgetting Cody Bellinger is a Yankee.
I know, it's
like that move flew so under the radar because it was trumped by losing Soto and then the Mets gaining Soto that I keep every time I see him and I'm like, oh yeah, Cody Bellinger. But I forget. And then I also kind of forget how impactful of a player he is. Mm-hmm. He got, he was able to lower his strikeout rate and get better with contact. And now I think when he came to the Yankees, they're working on his swing again for more power behind his swing. So I feel like we're getting the best of both. We're probably going to get the best version of Cody Bellinger, which is crazy considering he has won an MVP before. Like you said, I feel like he's going to have an incredible season. And even at game 162, I'm going to be like, oh yeah, Cody Bellinger's the Yankees.
Yeah.
It just felt, I don't know, it felt like such a, I forget what they say, but it was weird because I was just so hung up on the Soto situation that when it happened, I was like, oh cool. You see Cody Bellinger's name in the lineup and it just doesn't hit when you see a Judge Soto back to back. So they were really, not to say it didn't do much for me. It was a necessary move, but yeah, it's just funny. Every time I see him, and he fits so naturally into a Yankee uniform that it almost feels like he's been here forever at the same time. But I love to see what he's doing. What he did in spring training was incredible. He almost 500. He's continuing that here. And I think he's benefiting from being either batting in front of Judge or after Judge. I think he's seeing the benefits of that. The small ball is going a long way, between this entire lineup. Having Paul Goldschmidt batting leadoff, although I was really pissed about that because you saw, opening day you had Wells leading off, and then the next day it was already the changes with the lineup, and I was just oh my god, here we go! Boone's already switching things up after it looks like it worked, but then it worked even better game 2, and then they kept it with game 3 because apparently I guess that pitcher, his splits, whatever, all these analytics that play a role in making the lineup. But yeah, I'm loving Cody Bellinger so far. He's phenomenal in the outfield. They're switching him over to left field when they do his defensive replacement with Jason Dominguez.
Yeah.
He's
amazing.
crazy. I feel like they got just an all around just great ball.
Yeah, let's talk about the fact that they traded him to the Yankees for nothing, for Cody Petit, and then they DFA'd Cody Petit. And they've agreed to pay part of Cody Bellinger's salary should he opt in for the next season. $5 million. So
Yeah.
the Cubs gave him away plus $5 million for nothing. This is Brian Cashman. This is the move that he got him for. Like let's talk about it. When they DFA'd Cody Poteet, I texted Hector right away. I said, "Oh my God, I cannot."
I was like, "We're gonna get him back." I was like, "We're gonna sign him back."
I was like, Cashman did it again. He got an MVP, Rookie of the Year, incredible slugger, incredible teammate, incredible fielder for nothing.
And somebody who seems like Erica says, it seems like he's been here for ages, because he fits in so perfectly. Shout out to my guy Cheesy Soul Cakes in the building, who said, if as a Met fan I could smash that like button, all you Yankee fans need to giddy up and smack that like button. Absolutely. We got over 130 watching us collectively. We got over 55 watching us on YouTube. If you guys can, smack that like button, hit that subscribe button. Let's get to 50 likes on the stream. You guys can drop a super chat, a super sticker. We'll pull it up. Appreciate all of you guys. Shout out to Ra in the building. I appreciate you, Ra. Sean Browning was in the building. Stephen B. Appreciate Stephen B. Christian Castillo is in the building. And I want to talk about Paul Goldschmidt as well, because Paul Goldschmidt was a guy that the Yankees signed for $12 million. Paul Goldschmidt was a guy that when the Yankees signed him, everybody was making fun of Brian Cashman and said, this guy is washed. What are you guys doing? And so far, Paul Goldschmidt seems like he found that juice from Space Jam, that Bugs Bunny water from Space Jam, because Paul Goldschmidt, he looks rejuvenated. He looks like he is the second half version of himself, which he was last year. To start the season last year, Paul Goldschmidt was a horrible hitter. Second half of the year, he was a 270 or 280 hitter. He hit 290 against left-handed pitching, and that's what the Yankees needed, because we struggled against left-handed pitching. We may struggle against it this year. That's why we got Paul Goldschmidt. But I think Paul Goldschmidt, along with Cody Bellinger, a lot of people were saying after this weekend, listen, I would have loved for Juan Soto to be a Yankee. I don't think there's any Yankee fan out there that wouldn't love for Juan Soto to continue his career with the Yankees. But that money we was able to split up into Max Fried, into Cody Bellinger, into Paul Goldschmidt, and into Devin Williams. And we are a more complete team now than we were when we lost in the World Series.
100%. My husband was like, imagine this team with Juan Soto. And I was like, no, this would not have been the team. If they would have signed Juan Soto, we would not have had Cody Bellinger. I can tell you right now. We probably wouldn't have had Paul Goldschmidt. You know, who knows? Obviously, we're not the GM, but I was like, no, honey, this would not have been the team. Add Juan Soto. So, you know, it's working out so far. Let's look forward to the Arizona Diamondbacks. They're not a team to sleep on, y'all. We're going to be facing Corbin Burns. We're going to be facing Merrill Kelly is really good too. We're going to we have our work. Look, we still have to play 162. Okay. We played 3 and it's been great, but you know.
Yeah. This is how last season started, guys. We stepped through Astros. Everything was all fine and dandy. We were talking about small ball and having stuff there and how we were moving the runner over. And then July happened. And then August happened. So this is just baseball. We're excited. We're in the moment. I love Paul Goldschmidt right now.
Yeah.
We'll see if he can, sustain this success. But yeah, why? Like when you think about it, when you have a guy like Judge batting after you, do you need a speedster in the one hole? You know what I mean? That's something that they've been discussing. And it's like, no, you just want somebody that can get on base. And right now he's doing that. So, and obviously his glove, it helps as well, but please, I don't think I've ever been more pissed off watching a game where the Yankees scored 20 runs. And then I had to watch that defense and them try to keep that game away. My husband was literally like, only you can still be mad that the Yankees are up 11 runs. And I was like, you don't understand. Like, I'm getting flashbacks from the playoffs. Like, this is literally what caused us to lose the World Series. And it's happening again. And we're supposed to have a better defense this year. So, they need to clean that stuff up still. There's obviously a lot of things they have to work on. But it's only 3 games in. 3-0 at the top of the division already. I like all the smack talk. The back and forth with Mets fans. I think it's so funny that, like, just looking on Twitter is like when Juan Soto hits the home run, it's all the Mets fans. But when he strikes out against Hader, all the Yankee fans like, The rivalry is back, guys. It's going to infuriate us sometimes, and it's going to be so much fun sometimes. But this is great for baseball.
Listen, I just love the fact that I'm able to troll Met fans for the next 15 years because of Juan Soto, right? I'm gonna become the number one hated troll in Yankee land when it comes to the Mets. Shout out to Merck, so saucy in the building. Appreciate you, Merck. Haven't seen you in a while. He said, "Good morning, Hector, Grace, and Erica." Merck, I hope everything is good with you, fam. Rich Gonzalez says, "Great show, Yankee familiar. I love Grace's rendition of Jason Dominguez." Absolutely, appreciate you, Rich. I just want to say to Erica's point, that's something that I didn't want Yankee fans to not take away from this weekend. It's great that we had all those home runs. We had 9 home runs in the game. We set franchise record, 20 runs this game, 10 runs that game. That's all great. That's phenomenal. But our defense, Max Fried didn't look like the Max Fried was on money, and that's because his defense was very sloppy behind him. It was the same thing with Marcus Stroman on his start on Sunday, right? The Yankees defense wasn't behind neither one of those pitchers. When you have guys like Max Fried, when you have a guy like Marcus Stroman who relies heavily on their defense, we need that defense to step up and look a lot more sharper than it did over this weekend. Granted, I know we're just back home. Got to shake off the spring chickens or whatever it is. But if you was able to score 30 plus runs in 3 games, you should be able to field at a major league level. You like that? You like that? Great. You got to shake off the spring chickens.
I don't know what you're doing. I need to teach you some more Southern saying.
You need to. I'm pulling shit out the air, Grace.
I wanted to say something back when we were talking about the different lineup, and Erica was bringing up how Austin Wells was leading off, and then the next day Aaron Boone was changing it. What I really liked about that lineup that they ended up keeping for the next day because the reverse splits, Erica was saying, I really liked about that lineup that Aaron Judge was hitting third. I know I'm old school. I know it's not cool, and that the statistics say to put your best hitter in the second going second because he gets more at bats per year, blah blah blah. But it doesn't matter if they're automatically going to walk him. It doesn't matter how many more plate appearances he gets over the year. What matters is him coming up to bat with 2 people on base or 3 people on base when they turn over the order. So that's what matters when Aaron Judge comes up to bat, because it's the 3rd game of the year. And you know what? In the 2nd game of the year, they were already automatically walking him. In the 3rd game of the year, they put up 4 fingers twice. The 3rd game of the year. When you're taking the bat out of Aaron Judge's hand, it doesn't matter where he's hitting in the lineup. You have to put him into a situation that makes it harder for the manager to say, yes, put him on. I don't care. You got to have as many people on base as you can, because that's all that you can do. No one can. I love Jazz Chisholm Jr. What he's doing is amazing. He made them pay twice for automatically walking him. He made walking Aaron Judge. He made them pay twice, and that was amazing. Jazz, keep doing what you're doing. Absolutely love you, fellow Aquarius. You have my heart. Okay, but yes, absolutely. And everybody's like, Jazz Chisholm is just such a free spirit. I'm like, Aquarius, bitch. Anyway, the I forgot what I was gonna say. I was on a roll.
You were saying, no, you're right. The guys in front of Judge.
I know what I was gonna say. Yes, Erica, thank you. That's what I was gonna say. There is only one person in Major League Baseball who can protect Aaron Judge, and even he can't protect Aaron Judge all the time because he's a lefty, and it's Shohei Ohtani. Okay, so if you are a pitcher, it's like, would I rather pitch to a righty or would I rather pitch to a lefty? So even Shohei Ohtani could only protect Judge in certain situations. There's nobody who can protect Aaron Judge. Erica, go ahead. That's what I was going to say. But Erica, go ahead.
No, I agree. I think, I guess the way, like, I know that we looked at it earlier, I guess in the off season, like, why aren't you putting somebody with speed in the first spot in the lineup or second? But yeah, those guys are probably are more important than who follows up Judge, because Judge is the guy in the lineup that's going to make you pay, right? And then if you could get guys on base in front of him, it makes it harder to intentionally walk him.
Exactly.
Because now you're putting people in scoring position, or you're loading the bases, and then you're getting yourself caught up. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see if this throughout the season. A guy like Cody Bellinger too in front of Judge works it both ways, because you got a power bat. that can protect Judge. But if he does get on base, he does have speed. He runs the bases really well, a lot better than. And I hate to keep bringing him up, and I'm sorry, but runs the bases better than Soto. You know what I mean? So it's beneficial if this works out. I really do like Judge in the third spot better than in the 2-hole. You know, I understand the analytics, but yeah, I agree.
Yeah. I got two more videos to play. One further going into the whole torpedo bat. This is from the producers of the bat.
This is Torpedo bat. You might have seen it this weekend. Little you know, it's been around for a while now. Last year we had some success with this bat in the playoffs with Giancarlo Stanton with the Yankees. The idea behind this is we don't want to hit the ball here. We want to hit it here. So a lot of these designs are based around more wood volume where the ball will hit the bat. Everybody believes inside the organization that there's some bad designs out there in bats, and they would rather have the wood here, not here, to hit the baseball. Right now, it's starting to trend that it is panning out for a lot of guys. Some cool stuff going on in the bats, and look forward to seeing more of them made. This is Torpedo.
Not the DeWalt miter saw. Y'all can't get a Milwaukee? Not the DeWalt. Okay, all right.
I got one more. Here it is. And I found this morning. I was crying laughing.
New York Yankees, you motherfuckers are on PEDs. You hear me? Y'all are on drugs. Y'all got dirty piss. It's obvious. Your piss is dirty. You motherfuckers, I'm calling the drug policy informant. I just seen 3 back-to-back hits from the Yankees in the first inning, and they all was homeless. Dirty piss. I think it's the whole goddamn team.
Baby.
Oh my God, I've never seen this.
Oh God.
Meanwhile, the guy with the dirty piss is dirty so far.
Oh.
Yes. Talk about it, Erica. Because Jurickson Profar, a guy that Yankee fan. I'm guilty of it. I wanted the Yankees. I wanted the Yankees to sign him this offseason, and he got suspended 80 games. Yeah, Erica just brought up a topic. Go ahead, E. Go ahead, talk on it real quick.
No, man, Jurickson Profar, the guy that had a heated argument with a fan last season in the podcast, was apparently juicing up. Who knew? So he's suspended for 80 games. Shout out. And if they make the playoffs, he can't play in the playoffs either.
Nope. Yep. 80 games down the drain. Shout out to our guy Ace with the $5 super chat, helping us keep the lights on, who says this Yankee lineup definitely feels different. Agree with you guys. Our 7 through 9s don't feel like a black hole anymore. And that's the thing that we discussed last year, right? We understand what Aaron Judge is going to do, right? The top of our lineup, we understand Judge is going to produce. Cody Bellinger is going to get his numbers. Look, hopefully Austin Wells can continue being Austin Wells. Paul Goldschmidt, this is not a bleep on the radar. Hopefully he can still be put up solid numbers. But it's the guys at the bottom of the lineup. Because you could walk Aaron Judge, you could pitch around Cody Bellinger and Paul Goldschmidt. What is the 7, what are the 8, and what are the 9-hole hitters going to do in that lineup? And we didn't see much from Jason Dominguez this weekend besides his speed. I still think it was a solid weekend for Jason Dominguez. Some Yankee fans. Yeah, as I say, he walked some walks. He was on base. He used his speed. I thought it was solid from Jason Dominguez. I don't see why Yankee fans are sounding the alarm.
You know what's important? I want to say, Hector, I'm sorry. I don't mean
to
interrupt
you. No. Go ahead. And then throw it over to E.
We saw him hitting from the left and the right. I think that was really important. Aaron Boone is showing some patience, some faith in him, allowing him to get some ABs from the right side as well as the left is a good sign. At first, I was pissed that they were benching him in late innings, but then I calmed down and I said, you know what? No, because Trent Grisham is a Gold Glove outfielder, and he's great out there. And if we have a game able to win, we need to win that game. It doesn't matter if it's March or April or October, right? If you have a game in hand to win, you need to win that game. And so I think they're trying to put Jason in the best situation to gain confidence, to build upon what he's learning, to keep getting reps, but also protecting him from Gary Sanchez's itis, where you start to believe that you're a bad defender, and then it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. You become a bad defender when it doesn't have to end that way. I think that they're trying to learn from their past mistakes, like I said, with Gary Sanchez and others, right? And so I think it may be a good thing. We'll see how they go forward from here. But I'm seeing good things from Jason. And I like that they're giving him left and right. They're not giving up on his switch hitting ability. They're showing me that they want him to be an everyday player. And I like that.
What about you, Erica?
No, I mean, especially with a series that the Yankees had offensively, it's easy to point the finger at those who are not producing. But Jason Dominguez, I mean, I appreciated all the at-bats that he had working the walks. I think he had 3 or 4 walks in the series. That's huge, especially when one of his assets is speed and he's in that lineup. There's 3 guys back to back to back with just speed that can, as long as you're putting the ball in play, you can make something happen, right? When you have a guy like Volpe, Dominguez, Chisholm, whoever is back to back at the bottom of the lineup. So same as Grace, I was actually annoyed that they kept defensive replacing him. But if he did make a mistake out there, it would spark, more storylines that he doesn't need. And then what if it potentially loses the Yankees a game and then we start talking smack anyway? So, I like what we're seeing. Again, it is only 3 games, right? And like I said, with how they produced, it's easy to just point the finger at him. But if anybody needs to get sent to the moon, why is Pablo Reyes on this team? Dude, 2 errors, hasn't gotten a hit. I'm just like, he doesn't even look like he wants to be here.
She's stirring the drink.
No, because you're not the only one. That's the same thing that Grace texted me. Grace texted me like, what the?
Hey, Hector, some things you don't say on air.
No, all she said was, Hector, you see, I love Pablo Reyes.
Yeah,
what about you? I was like, absolutely. I love Pablo Reyes also. I'll throw it over to you, Grace. Last thoughts before we get out of here, and let's toss it over to Erica. Shout out to Uncle Big Time Jerry in the building. Big Time Jerry Cadell. I love you, Unc. Go ahead, Grace.
Y'all know I was rooting for Oswald Peraza this spring, and he made the squad. I know it may have been a technicality that caused him to make it, but I thought when I saw Pablo Reyes, I was like, this is y'all are really trying to do me. Because if there's one thing that Peraza has shown the ability to do at the major league level is defense.
Yeah.
He has played in postseason with incredible defense for the New York Yankees against MLB, opponents. He has the experience. I'm talking about his defense. If you're going to have defense out there, it should be Peraza, period, period. I don't care. I'm not going to listen to anything else. The errors that Reyes made, I think it was Nosebleed messaged me, about all the errors that the Yankees were making. And I was like, most of them are on Reyes. And he's killing us out there okay, look, it was his major league debut. Like, I get it. Nerves, opening weekend, whatever. It was only 1 game. I get it. But what I didn't get was the fact that you had Oswald Peraza, who has been nothing but nails
Money.
At second base, at shortstop, and at third with defense. So what are we doing?
Yep. I'm right there with you, Grace. What about you, Erica?
At this point, just start Peraza. If he has to prove it, you have to give him time to prove himself. I feel like time and time again, season over season, yes, offensively he hasn't looked great, but you have to give him consistent at bats and consistent looks at major league pitching, and they're just not doing that. If it doesn't work out, listen, it was nice to know you. I hope that you succeed somewhere else, just not against the Yankees, please, because that just seems to happen every time. And he has the glove for third. Pablo Reyes, was he in defensive replacement? I think in 1 game, but he started the other games.
Yeah.
And you also have Cabrera out there. He's proven himself. He's gotten a couple of hits. I thought it was weird seeing Pablo Reyes, and then he goes out there and makes all those errors. dude, what is this?
He
But
looked lost at the plate.
It's more. I was gonna say real quick. He wasn't. It's more of like he's more of a veteran, right? So I think he played with the Mets and the Red Sox as well. I think it was just
Reyes
jitters.
did?
Yeah, Reyes has major league experience.
What?
Yeah.
I
It
thought
don't
he
look
was
like it.
brand new. Oh,
Don't look
Lord,
like it.
help me, Lord, I can't do this anymore. Absolutely not.
I
was
last
trying to give him the benefit of the doubt.
Erica, last thoughts before we get out of here, friend.
I'm excited to see what Will Warren's gonna look like tonight. Yeah, this is gonna, he's a pivotal role in this rotation, and then we got Rodon tomorrow. I just hope that they keep it going. I hope the Torpedo Bats continue to succeed in Yankee Stadium, and yeah, hopefully we go 4-0, and by the time we talk on the next podcast, 5-0. And just keep it rolling, man. I'm excited. I'm just excited that baseball's back. Everything is right in the world. The sounds, the smells. I can't wait to get to the stadium. I love everything about this. I love baseball so much, and I'm glad that you guys have this platform to talk about it, and everybody that's in the comments. I mean, it makes my day so much better. So I really appreciate it.
No, I appreciate you, E. Guys, make sure you guys go follow That's Baseball Erica on YouTube and on Instagram. Erica is dropping dope videos when it comes around the New York Yankees. Baseball season is back, so make sure all you baseball fans out there, if you go to a game, go to a game. If you can't go to a game, make sure you watch on TV. If you can listen to a podcast, support all the different Yankee podcasts that are out there. There's enough to go around. There's enough views. There's enough likes. There's enough subscribers on the internet for everyone to be able to have these great conversations. And like Erica said, I am blessed to have such a great and lovely co-host like Grace Monroe, the bestie, one of the best besties that are out there. I'm blessed to have a good friend like Erica as well, who's a dope content creator on her own. But you guys in this chat, this community has been amazing. Meeting some of you guys IRL at Yankee Stadium, meeting a lot of, I met Dave Sims from the Yankees. I forgot to tell you guys, the new radio announcer for the New York Yankees. It was on Sunday. After we did the Jackson Churio interview, I left all my stuff in the media room, media lounge. So I finished downstairs. I came back upstairs to come get my stuff. As I was leaving, as the elevator was open in the media lounge, Dave Sims comes and he's like, "Oh, I like your hat," because I was wearing the big hat. I was like, "Oh, I'm a big fan of yours. Thank you so much." I said, "Congratulations on the job." He was real awesome to have a conversation with, so that was pretty dope. Again, I'm super excited. If you guys are at Yankee Stadium, make sure you guys follow me on TikTok, on Instagram, on YouTube, because I do go live from outside of the stadium. I was on live on TikTok on Sunday and on opening day. So if you guys are at the stadium, if I'm there, run down on me. But until next time, drink some water, say something nice about yourself. I got my Megazord back there because I got backup. You feel me? All you Yankee haters out there, we got backup. All right. But I'm Hector.
I'm Grace Monroe.
I'm Erica.
This is Yankees Morning Brew. We will be back on Thursday. We got some videos to leave you guys with, and we out of here.
Fought well yesterday. Your style is unorthodox.
Scorpio.